Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Radha Krishna Samarambam Krishna Chaitanya Madhyamam Shri Damodar Bhayantam Vande Guru Paramparam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shiyati Bhakti Dhiranam Damodaritti Namine Yate Shri Bhakti Dhidasya Guna Bhavano Vrattane Sarvada Sarva Bhaktanam Sarvaraksha Padayane Shri Radha Krishna Gauranga Gayasi Sarvada Prabhu Nityananda Kripa Mukti Pranamami Puna Puna Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tita Swami Tinamine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tita Itinamine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunjavadi Vaishtatyare Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karuti Vacharam Pangam Lagati Girim Yakyapataham Vande Shri Guru Diratharanam. Hare Krishna. So I'm very grateful for this wonderful opportunity to be able to speak on the subject matter of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Sincerely, I'm not qualified to be able to speak on this topic, but by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, I would like to speak something for their glorification and also for my own benefit and also the benefit of the listeners. Thank you very much. So, Sutta Uvacha Viduras Tatra Yatrayam Tita Yatrayam Maitriyat Atmano Gatim Gyatva Yat this Dastinapuram Thaya Vabtha Vivishitaha. So this is a very interesting text because it's the beginning of the chapter of Dhritarashtra quitting home. It's the first chapter.
Hare Krishna Devarishi
First
Prabhu.
test.
Hare Krishna Devarishi Prabhu. I'm sorry to interrupt you for a brief moment.
Okay.
Hare Krishna listeners here and wherever, our precious speaker, some of you may not be reading the text on the screen, but our speaker, Devarishi, misspoke. And so I just wanted to make that clarification. We have three names that appear to be quite similar. Ambalika, Amba, Ambika. And here in the text, it says that Vyasadeva conceived in the womb of a maidservant called Ambika. But Devarishi misspoke and said Ambalika. So the correction is Ambika. It's just a speech. So Hare Krishna, you can continue, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the correction. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So this is very interesting, and is the first test of the chapter where Vidura Maharaj Dhritarashtra quitting his leaving home. So here Sutta Goswami is speaking with the sages of Naimisharanya and describing Vidura's visiting pilgrimage, going for pilgrimage after being insulted by Jordan. So this is after the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when all the Pandavas were saved by Krishna, and the Kauravas were being killed by the son of Pandu, the children of Pandu, the 5 Pandavas. So Yudhishthira, Vidura is very, very prominent in the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, because his life was very exemplary. That is why he's very prominent, and also he's a devotee of Krishna. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada made mention that Vidura is a son of Vyasadeva. So we can go back from where Santanu, King Santanu, the father of Bhishma Dev, married to lady Queen Satyavati. They gave birth to 2 children, Chitravira and Chitraanga. But both of them were not strong enough to be able to rule the kingdom. Both of them died. So now they have to call the stepson of Maharaj Santanu, which is Vyasadeva, to come and impregnate the wives of Chitravira. So now Vyasadeva came and impregnated Ambika and Ambarika. And Ambika was supposed to go for second child, because the first one that she gave birth to was not also suitable to rule the king, which is Maharaj Pandu. So she did not go. She pushed her maidservant, and a maidservant doesn't understand anything. He's just he just accepts anything. So she just went and lied down without any questioning or questioning anybody. He just went and lied down, and the Vyasadeva impregnated her, and he gave a birth to a child called Vidura. But Vidura cannot rule the kingdom because he's a son of a maidservant. So although he was a son of a maidservant, but he was able to, he was the chief minister in the kingdom. So being a chief minister, he was trying all his best to be able to help his elder brother, who is Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra is mentally blind and physically blind, so he needs guidance. but because he was blind spiritually and mentally, he was very selfish, trying to make his children rule the kingdom. Vidura advised him several times, but he did not accept that instruction from his brother. Even though understanding the position of his brother, but still Dhritarashtra did not accept the instruction. Even after the son of Dhritarashtra hearing the conversation, the son, the Duryodhana, became angry and he insulted his uncle for interrupting in the trying to side the Pandavas, trying to tell his father to give some properties to the Pandavas. So Yudhishthira, son Pandu, Duryodhana, was very, very angry with his uncle and insulted Vidura. And out of that anger, out of that insult, Vidura also left home. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained who Vidura really is. So Srila Prabhupada explained that Vidura is not different, Vidura is the same as Yamaraj, the king of the hellish planets. He is the judge, Yamaraj. But because of Yamaraj being one day, Yamaraj, like after understanding this point, Yamaraj gave a decision, or Yamaraj gave Manduka Muni. Manduka Muni was a great sage in his hermitage, one place in India. And Manduka Muni was in his hermitage because he was meditating. Some thieves went to rob a place, and because they were running, they entered into the hermitage of Manduka Muni. And when Manduka Muni, because Manduka Muni was not aware of the thieves being in his hermitage, when the police officers arrived there, they arrested Manduka Muni also. They arrested Manduka Muni to be part of the thieves. And with that, the magistrates give sentence that they should be killed by piercing Manduka Muni with a lance through his anus. So when the king heard this the situation, the king also knew the potency of Manduka Muni. So he intervened and tried to beg on behalf of Manduka Muni. And when Manduka Muni understood that I was not part of this robbery, so why should I be judged that I should die by piercing, by being pierced with a lance through my anus? Why should I be killed in that way? So Manduka Muni can trace that is something done by Yamaraj. So because the sage was very mystical, he was able to go to the abode of Yamaraj. And from there, he inquired from Yamaraj, why you make this kind of judgments? Why did you make this kind of judgment? That I, a great sage like me, should be pierced with a lance. I should be killed. Why should that be a judgment for me? So Yamaraj now explained that, my dear Muni, when you were a child, you did the same act to an ant. And because of what you did, this is the results of your activities. So Manduka Muni became offended that I was a young child, innocence, that I don't understand anything. I don't know anything. Based on that activity, why should you give me? Why should you reward me? Why should you do this, give this kind of judgment to me, knowing that I was innocent? So the sage, the great sage, being so powerful, was able to curse Yamaraj. And Yamaraj is not different from Krishna. So the great sage cursed Yamaraj to become a Sudra. So now Yamaraj is being born in the family of the Kuravas as Maharaj Vidura, Mahatma Vidura, to be born as Mahatma Vidura. So Mahatma Vidura, after being insulted by Duryodhana, Mahatma Vidura left home for pilgrimage to visit different holy places. So he went to different Haridwara, Rishikesh, he went so many places. And in the first meeting, Maharaj Vidura met Uddhava before meeting Manduka Muni. He first met Uddhava before meeting Maitreya Muni. So we can see how powerful association is. By meeting Vidura, he was able to get the association of Maitreya Muni. Now, Vidura accepted Maitreya Muni as his spiritual master and take instruction from him. And from there, the translation, Prabhupada said, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great Maitreya Muni. Now, Maitreya Muni was able to reveal or to guide him in a way for him to understand that the real destination is to go back home, back to Godhead. So after understanding the science of self-realization from Maitreya Muni, now Maitreya Vidura also heard the calamities, hearing what's happened, that his brother, children, 100 sons, the sons of Dhritarashtra, they are all killed by the Pandavas. So now he have to return back home. So by Vidura now returning back home with full loaded with divine knowledge, just by association of Maitreya Muni. So here we can understand that although Yamaraj, being a representative of the Lord, and knowing that he is being given a position of giving judgment to the living entity, he made a mistake and offended a devotee, Manduka Muni, and he was cursed. So we have to understand that although we are devotees, but we have to understand, we have to be very careful with our activities. Here we can see the activities of Manduka Muni in his childhood, performing some activities unknowingly, but being given a judgment of being pierced with a straw, being pierced pierced with lines to die. So we can see that every action that we perform, thinking that we can just commit any, we can just do any activity and just live life, go, forget about it. No, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be the judgment of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is going to base on our activities, whatever we are doing. Yamaraj is going to judge us by our activities. So as a devotee, we should try as much as possible that we are living a life based on the scriptures, following the instructions of the spiritual master, trying to inquire from the spiritual master submissively. This is what Maitreya Muni Vidura did. He inquired from the spiritual master Maitreya Muni submissively. Inquire from him submissively, and he was able to impart the knowledge of the review. He was able to receive the knowledge of the destination of the self from Maitreya Muni. So every devotee should try much as possible to be able to be imbibed with these qualities of Vidura by following the steps, the process of devotional service. And by getting the association of a devotee, our life in this material world, we will be able to receive the knowledge of the desire of the destination of the self. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Devarishi Prabhuji. At this point, we're going to ask the devotees if they have questions, comments, remarks, realizations. You are free to speak. Devarishi Prabhu, I have one quick question for you. Again, thank you for speaking. When you were speaking, you did mention that Vidura is the incarnation of Yamaraj, which Prabhupada explains in the purport. But on top of that, you also said that Yamaraj is Krishna himself. We hear from the scriptures sometimes it is said that the sun god is Krishna himself. Sometimes we hear that Lord Shiva is Krishna himself, Lord Brahma is Krishna himself. Yet, in the 10 offenses against chanting the holy names of the Lord, one says that to consider the names of demigods, like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. So I would like you to shed a bit light on how Yamaraj is Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I know that this question you already know, but you just so from the purport, Srila Prabhupada said that Vidura is Yamaraj, and I also, through my speaking, I also said that, yeah, because Yamaraj is a representative of the Lord, and the Lord's paraphernalia or the Lord's associates, they are all part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in some way, they are all part of the Lord, and some way also not part of the Lord. So me saying that Yamaraj is Krishna himself is because Krishna is the one who gave him that position. So he's acting not by his own whims, his own instructions. He's taking all his instructions from Krishna. So it can be, that is why I said that he's not different from Krishna. So, and you also said that if in the Shastakam, it says that one should not, please, can you remind me?
To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Krishna.
Yes, yes. For a devotee really understands the positions of the demigod. So for a kami will relate with them as they are equal. But for a devotee knows the stance of each devata or demigods. So it's for a devotee. But for a kami, you have to really explain, expatiate for people to really understand the levels of the demigods. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Anybody else with any question, comments? Oh, there's Yadinath Prabhu, please, you may unmute and say whatever you want to say. Yadinath Prabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My question from the lecture, we are made to understand how things happen, how Yamaraj became Mahatma Vidura. Now, among us devotees, we have read so many similar stories of great personalities who have to experience what they experience because of their previous actions. For example, Bhishma Dev. There are Bhishma Dev, just like he mistakenly killed an animal by tossing it into a cactus plant, and because of their indigenous life, we have to die in the bed of arrow. Now, we are devotees, we are reading this story, and any time something happens around us, we put blames on others, not remembering or thinking that it's possible we did something in previous life while we are suffering like that.
Yadinath Prabhu. Yadinath Prabhu, hold on. I don't know if the way I'm hearing you, the same way others are hearing you, but there is a bit echo from your end, and it's blurring your speech.
Can I be heard? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yes, it's better.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can hear you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, is it better?
Yes,
much better. It's better now.
Okay, I was trying to say that in the course of this lecture, we heard how Yamaraj became Mahatma Vidura. And we've heard about other stories of great personalities who had to face different kind of experiences as a result of what they did in their previous lives. So my question is, now among us devotees, when something happens, we castigate, we put blame on others. We don't think that we have lived before. And even in the book, Prabhupada explained that we have been coming to this material world since time immemorial, which means we must have engaged in different activities. So having known that we have been coming here, we must have performed some action that we are paying for now. And having heard all these series of stories of great personalities who made mistake and they had to suffer, why is it that we devotees, when something happens, we always want to put the blame on somebody else?
Okay, I guess Devarishi Prabhu, you got his question.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Can you give him?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yadna Swami. Thank you very much. From what I've heard
Thank you.
From what I've heard from Guru, Guru Maharaj said, His Holiness Bhakti Damodara Swami, he said, we are not hearing. If we hear, we will take it into practice. It's because we are not hearing and we are acting out of ignorance. When situations happen, something happen in our life, we will put blames to others. But if we really hear what the acharyas spoke or the acharyas have been saying, it will sink inside the heart, and automatically we will practice it, and we will get realization from it. So because we are not hearing what the acharyas or the great personalities have said about this situation, it will be very difficult for us to be able to understand or to be able to accept this. So from what I heard, that is what I can also say, please.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, okay. Hare Krishna.
Bye. Thank you.
Please, Prabhu, you can add some.
Well, I think you said you spoke from what your Gurudev has told you, which is better than anything anybody can say here. But my take on that, Yadinath Prabhu's question is that, yes, it's true. Whatever happens to any individual is as a result of karma. Nevertheless, because we are humans, we're still going to complain, especially as long as we live in human society. We're going to complain. Because if we do not complain, and when we truly understand that whatever is going on is due to karma, and karma has to take effect, then we just let everything go. But that's what makes devotees different. Because devotees are even more merciful than the Lord himself. And so even though a devotee may know that somebody's karmic reaction dictates that this person must live very wretched and poor, devotees try to change that. Because the nature of devotee is to give happiness to people in general. Of course, not material happiness, but spiritual happiness. In other words, a devotee's duty is to relieve people of their difficulties. And so, yeah, whatever is going on is due to karma. But I do not think, I mean, everybody here can say what they also think, especially from the scriptures. But I think that as long as we live as human beings, we're bound to complain. But that should not be the final point. We complain, and then we sit back, and then we realize that, okay, it takes two to tango. So even though that person may be wrong, but I also did something to cause me whatever he did to me. So I think that is how devotees see things in life. Whereas those who are not devotees always blame, but they do not see the part they themselves played. Devotees see themselves the part they played, and then they try to see how they can prevent that from happening again. That's what I can add to it.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else wants to add to Yadinath Prabhu's question? And
I have a question.
okay, please go ahead.
So many.
Oh, Sri Hari Chakra, Hare Chakra Prabhu, you have something to say? Please unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, hold on. Shri Hare Chakra.
Sorry.
No,
Please. No.
Mr. Ravinder. No, I heard your voice first. All right, I will let Hare Chakra Prabhu go and then you speak later. Okay. So Hare Chakra Prabhu, you may unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Devarishi.
Devarishi.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Concerning Yaduna's question,
yeah.
What I know is that the whole process of this devotional service, this sadhana bhakti, is to teach us how to tolerate and make progress in our daily life. And I think Guru Maharaj explains that vividly in his 4 principles of community living. That if something happens between you and another person, and you readily are able to accept that you are at fault, even though you might not necessarily be at fault, but if you accept that you are at fault, then already 50% of the problem is solved. So as devotees, even though we know our karmic reaction is bringing something to us, but it's also our what do we call it, our duty to help the person through whom our karma is being paid. You know what I mean? Because that is the difference between a devotee and an ordinary person. Because the devotee, even though you know you have done something, but Guru Maharaj, Shlabhati Teta Maharaj explains that we should always come to the level where we try to understand that this thing that is happening to me, maybe I should have gotten something more serious than this one. But due to the mercy of Guru and Krishna, I'm just getting this token thing. And that 4 principles of community living is, it says everything. It says it all. That if we are able to imbibe it and try to practice it in our day-to-day life, then all these issues of trying to always blame people for our shortfalls, well, it will be short. It will be solved to some extent. So that is my little contribution towards it. That
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Shri Hare.
Yeah, because and one quick one is like,
sure, yes,
you are walking in town and you see someone suffering, like someone falls down and is dying. You know, yeah, it's true that it's his karma, it's the person's karma that he falls down at that material moment. But also within his karma is that you should be there at that material moment.
Okay.
So then you should help. You should perform your part of the person's karma. But if you refuse to perform your part of the person's karma, then you are neglecting your duty and you have to suffer for that. So in other words, if someone does something to us that we feel so bad about it, yes, it's our karma, all right. But it is also our karma that that person has done that to us, but we should also be in the position to help the person so that we fulfill that part of his karma that will be able to help him get some elevation. We are talking, this is like, it's more theoretical than practical. But what to do? We are devotees and we are being trained. So first we get the theory and we try to live the theory so that we can come to the level of being practical. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Chakra Prabhuji. Mitravinda Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Gurudesha Prabhupada. What can I say after that? Baba has spoken. Haribo. And with such a mood of fire as usual, right? But
Yeah.
everything Baba says is 100 correct. Because it relates to that aspects of compassion, service, which is what we're supposed to be here for, in the material world where people are just cutthroat, they're stepping over each other, no regard. Oh, you know, that happened to you. but it's dual, because in some ways, some people materially who are not, they don't have this information, they're so kind. They want to help. They give mercy. So what to speak of us with each other? I have to say, I unfortunately know this from experience. I haven't felt supported in my community in Philadelphia, but that's okay, because again, I realized that my karma is my karma. It was mine before I got this body, and it follows me, right? But my original question before Baba spoke was, are we supposed to be an aspect of giving or assisting in one's karma in a way that's negative? I don't believe that. And so when Baba spoke, I was like, yes, I get what you're saying, because it related to my question. Are we supposed to be each other's karma? Meaning that aspect of negativity, like Baba said, when you see someone, you can try to help them. Why not? Why not? And when we talk about material help and spiritual help, if a person is starving and we don't, so prasadam is everything. It's what we eat. It's the mercy of the Lord, literally, but there's this kind of connotation that it means one way. It means whatever is given in mercy, and Krishna is everything. So if we can offer assistance immediately to the person who's hungry, right, to the person who needs help in whatever way, if we can do that, then we may be able to give some space so they can hear about Krishna. We can allow them to have a place so they can actually hear. A suffering man or a hungry man can only think about his belly and his starving senses. So they may not be able to hear about philosophy, and because the senses are all like involved. But how we give, what we give, is not even ours. It's Krishna's mercy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. Devarishi Prabhu, do you have anything else to add to what she said?
Oh, no. I'm here to hear.
No. You are a representative of Vedas today.
But I'm still hearing.
What Mother Mitravinda just said reminds me of the saying that a true devotee of the Lord has two sides. Now, one side is so soft, like a lotus flower, and one other side is like a thunderbolt. So a true devotee does not fight for himself. He's very soft. Whatever you say to him, you say about him, he will take it. Whether it's true, it's false, he will take it. But if there is a second devotee standing next and seeing what is being done to the other devotee and knowing that it's not right, and that the devotee stands still without doing anything, then that devotee is stupid. Because the devotee's duty is to make sure that nobody does anything harmful to devotees. If it's done to himself, he will take it, no problem. But he cannot tolerate seeing suffering of others. That's a devotee. So I think it will be very, very unfortunate for a devotee to stand by seeing what other devotees are put through unfairly and throw away his eyes somewhere and assume that it's his karma, let him suffer. No. That's why Srila Prabhupada came here at such an advanced age. He came here to help us. We're all suffering from our karma, but he came here to relieve us of it. And by so doing, he also suffered, but he was not worried, suffering to give the loving entities happiness and liberation. So I think there are so many things we can learn from these great saints and teachers we have on our line. And always it's easier said than done, but at least once we know it and we try to make the effort to live in it, like Hare Chakra Prabhu was saying, then by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we may be able to live as pure devotees or real devotees. And I don't think real devotees or pure devotees means you do not see differences. Because if you do not see differences, then how are you going to preach? Why do you preach when everybody is part and parcel of God, and the parts and parcel, like Krishna explains in Mantra 1 of Sri Upanishad, Krishna himself is a supreme whole. There are so many parts and parcels coming out of him, and the parts and parcels are also complete whole in themselves. So they are all pure. You are pure, I'm pure. So why do you have to preach to me? Don't preach to me. But we step down. We step down to see differences. And that is the more reason why there are certain rituals we have to do, because we're still in this material world. We need them.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your contribution, and Mataji and Hare Chakra Prabhu's contribution. It means a lot to me, and also I love the explanation. It's more clearer also, and yeah, like we are trying to have a ceremony on Sunday, on Sunday for the nation, especially in Ghana. I'm in Ghana now. So I discussed with a senior Mataji, and she said that why should we do that? Why should we do this ceremony for Ghana? It's going to create a lot of problem. People are going to criticize the deities, and it's not good. I said, Mataji, you should see the bigger picture. No matter what we do, people will still talk about it. But if we are able to give it out, we have done our part. We let people understand what we are doing, because we are being kept in one place as if we are not part of the society. So when something is happening in the government, they will invite other religious organization, and Krishna consciousness will just be kicked away, and we have been seeing this for years. So it's better we do something that will benefit the society, and also help the movement. So I can connect what you just said with what we are about to do also. So I really am very grateful for everything.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, anybody else with anything to share? Well, I truly admire you, Devarishi Prabhu, because I know you are not a very, you don't feel so easy speaking in public, but for the sake of speaking the Bhagavatam, you allowed yourself to be here. So we appreciate you for taking such an easy path. No, usually as human beings, we like to do things that we are very easy with, but it's not so easy to do things you don't really like to do. So thank you for speaking.
It's by your mercy. Thank you very much.
Anybody else with anything to share? Well, if nobody else has anything to share, today is Friday. Usually Fridays, people are in a rush because they want to go have rest for the weekend. They may be going to the countryside, driving. So, well, we wish you all a very blissful Hare Krishna weekend. And by Guru and Krishna's grace, we'll meet here again on Monday. So at this point, we're going to ask all the devotees to unmute, and then we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation for our revered speaker, Devarishi Prabhu. And after everything is said and done, if you can hang on, I would like to play, I think, a 3-minute video. Okay. All right. So at this point, we ask all the devotees to unmute, please. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama.
Hare.
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Panchakapatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
All glories to His grace, DEVARISHI. And all glories to Yadanath Prabhu to help put some fire into the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Yadanath Prabhu. Hare